Hey everyone, it's Sherry and I have another process video for you today. However, of course, it is a little bit different because I'm going to be doing a voiceover. I had a couple of requests to do voiceover and also to slow down my process a little bit. So instead of it being at 800%, I've slowed it down to 400%. This video will be a little under 14 minutes, I think. Originally, the video would have been over an hour. Just from actual scrap time, it was like an hour and 7 minutes or something like that. So I hope you enjoy this new setup. I'm not sure if this is what it's going to be every week, just depending on what you guys ask me for and the response. You know, I'll try to mix these in between. But I do like doing these process videos for the project life. I think it's a good opportunity for people to see how this, you know, kind of new style of scrapbooking works, at least the way that I do it. And I love watching process videos myself. So for me to be able to share one with you, you know, I like that. I like doing these process videos. At first it was a lot of work learning how to edit and add music and all that other stuff, but I'm getting the hang of it every time. So anyways, I was blabbing through the times when I was picking out what cards I wanted to use. I already had my photos set up. The way that I set my stuff up, I don't necessarily have to have my pictures in exact order of when they happened. Sometimes I can switch it around just a little bit. And there is a little bit of leeway too with like the first two at the top and then the second one on the left. Those were all the same date night. So I just put the movie first and then dinner after, which is the way that it went, but I could have done dinner at the top and then the movie. I'm not that particular about it. So anyways, I got all my cards picked out and I'm just starting to round all the corners. Yeah, you'll see I just edited. All the corners are rounded. I try to do that first before I start, just so I don't have to keep doing that every time I pick up a new card. I decided to use a calendar card. Of course, watching my videos, you'll probably notice that I don't really keep dates all that much. I mean, sometimes I'll date stamp. Sometimes I'll do a week title card. Sometimes I'll just do a monthly title card. It's just, I just feel like I don't want to restrict myself to doing any one thing all the time. So I just, you know, do whatever I feel. And this time I felt like doing a calendar, so that's what I did. So I just went ahead and numbered all the dates on here. I'm going to be covering up most of those dates with the pictures, but I didn't want to have to, you know, keep messing around with that. So I just did it all at one time. I wanted that little Fandango screenshot to have a little bit of colored background, so I used one of the extra embellishment pieces to go on the back there. And then I specifically picked out this stamp set by Kelly Perky. It's called Rad because it has a little speech bubble with date night on it. And I'm sure of no fault of her own, but the reason, this is a great example of why you always see me stamping off before I actually stamp on my project, because sometimes stamps are not measured correctly. So like the date night right there is not deep enough to not always catch ink when you stamp it. So you have to be very, very light-handed when you're putting ink on this particular stamp set. And that's the way it is with most of the images on this particular stamp set. It was one of her first ones, so I'm sure that they're probably not like that anymore, but I haven't really bought any recently. Oh, there's my big head. Okay, so I get that stamped off, and I'm so glad that I practiced a few times off my project before I did that, because it turned out really well when I finally did figure out how to stamp it and ink it correctly. This technique I get a lot of comments on too. Oh, see right there, I messed it up. This isn't something I thought of myself. I was actually watching Erin, who is Rogue Noodle on YouTube, and this is what she would do. She would outline her images with black Sharpie. I used to use like black soot and just regular ink and use a dauber and ink all around my edges, but using a Sharpie is so much cleaner and such a less of a mess when you want to outline something. And sometimes something just needs to pop off the page, for me anyways. So here I am just using some snap letters for the title. I'm going to probably be doing another stash chat video on my alphas because I've gotten a few comments about all the alphabet stickers that I have. I do have a lot, but when you're doing Project Life specifically, I would think, for me, I use a ton of these stickers, and the best ones to get by far that I use all the time, of course, are the Snap and the October Afternoon, but I'll go into that in that video. So anyways, I cut out that little heart. You know, don't ever be afraid to cut up your embellishments. They don't always have to be used the way that the company or the manufacturer makes them. I liked that heart, but I didn't like the big white piece around it, so I just cut it out. All right, and then we're moving on to this pocket, which I love that 4x6 card. I just love all those hearts and the rainbow effect, and I don't know, it was so cute. So dumped out the embellishments that come with that little set, and this page is going to be next to the page that I did in my last process, so I just kind of wanted it to coordinate, so I kept using this stash, and I just really like this pack. I got it from Joann's. I think it's called Snap Every Day. Oh, I have my little paper that I wrote down all my products I was using. So it would help if I took it out. So anyways, here is my infamous label holder that I keep all my little labels in that I use for Project Life. I just did a stash chat on that. If you want to check out that video, it was the one before this one. I'm looking for something cute to put up at the top there. And since this is going to go in the top pocket, it's okay that that little piece is going to hang off the top. It's not going to interrupt anything. So I thought that was cute. And I made sure to stick it just so you could see that, you know, the one on the left was a girl wearing a dress and the one on the right was a boy. Here I am using those Snap letters again. And I'm going to end up changing this because I don't like how close those red letters are to that orange flag right above it on that side. I like pops, and that was just way too close for me, even though it wasn't the same color. So I just went ahead and switched it up to put me and you, so the U would stand out a little bit more. And I like the way that it turned out. I printed those photos a little bit bigger than I normally do. I did a ratio 3:2 and printed them out like that. I like that size. It doesn't cover up your cards because I still like to see the cards in the background. So now moving on to the food. So we were at Cooper's Hawk. I don't know if you guys have a Cooper's Hawk by you. We just got Cooper's Hawk in Orlando, and I think we've been there like 5 times already. I went once for work, but Marcus and I have actually been there quite a few times. It's really, really good. And you get like a free glass of wine while you're waiting to be seated. It's like nice ambiance. We always sit outside because we just love being outside, but the food is good. He really likes the fish sandwich. That's what he got that time. There's this like turkey and brie walnut pretzel bread sandwich that I like to get. You can get like a half sandwich and a salad or something like that. Anyways, going off at a tangent. But if you're by a Cooper's Hawk, it's delicious. So anyways, I pulled out some thickers here, and they are the hardcover thickers. They're in like a aqua teal color. And I figured out halfway through putting down the beginning of that word that it wasn't going to fit, so I started with the end of the word and just had to rearrange a little bit. These little letters are from a Glitz Halloween pack. I think it's called the Raven pack. So I just cut all them up. You know, you get that sheet where it's like different types of alphas, and then you get like some, I don't know, different kinds of stickers that coordinate with the pack. I just cut them all up and put them in my stash so I can grab them for Project Life. They're not necessarily Halloween, you know, only you can use them for Halloween, whatever. I just cut them up, put them in there. I get a lot of questions about this cutter, this trimmer. This is the best trimmer I have ever used, ever bought. This trimmer is from Creative Memories, and back in the day when I first started scrapbooking, the only thing I really knew about was Creative Memories, and I'd go to some of their parties, and I ended up buying that. It was like 10 bucks. That thing is over 10 years old, and it is still sharp. Of course, now I have to knock on wood because when I go to use it next time, it's probably going to go dull since I said something about it. But it's really unfortunate that Creative Memories has gone bankrupt and out of business because I get so many questions about that trimmer, and it is from Creative Memories. You can probably find it on eBay or maybe even Craigslist, somebody selling theirs, but I definitely recommend it. I have never changed that blade ever. I've never had to sharpen it, nothing. It just cuts perfectly, and it has that little, I don't know what you call it, but it's a little plastic piece that keeps your paper down when you're putting the guillotine down. And unlike the Fiskars trimmers that are like that, it keeps your paper straight. So definitely recommend that. So here we are, moving on to the next picture, which is just a selfie of me and my mommy in the car. The picture before this one was just our food that we got at Cheesecake Factory. We went out for lunch for my auntie's birthday. It was me and my mom and my dad and my auntie and my cousin, and she picked the Cheesecake Factory, so that's where we went. And then the girls went to go see a movie, so my dad went home. He didn't want to see the movie we were going to see. So this is just me and my mom in my car driving to the movie theater. I take a lot of pictures like this of me and my mom. I don't know, I just think it's fun. Anyways, there's those alphas again. I love that little embellishment, the little pie chart with the heart. And I wanted that heart, you know, it was the perfect placement to be right by my mom. So I really liked how that turned out. And then I pulled out this embellishment, and once again I cut it up because I just wanted the camera. I didn't need all that background space. And I just wanted part of it on the little picture just to show like it was a, you know, selfie or whatever. I had the hardest time getting this thing straight. I don't know what the problem was. I had to use like 2 different pairs of scissors to get it cut right, and I don't know if it was moving. I don't know. I didn't tape it down good enough. I don't know what the deal was, but finally it was good to go. Alright, so here's the last pocket, and this is going to be of just a screenshot I took when I looked up the movie that we went to go see, Maleficent. And I didn't like how boring that little card was. Even though I knew it was great for journaling, I needed some sort of pop of color because it was just a little too boring for me. And these are scraps that I cut from my last process video. So yes, there are words on the back. That's just the way these manufacturers make it. You kind of got to pick and choose what you want to use and if it's worth it for you to cut it up. But, you know, for me, it was. So if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. But I like the polka dots on the back, so I use that as just, you know, matting paper. So these letters are from Glitz Teeny Alphas, they're called. They look like tiny little black Scrabble pieces is what it looks like to me. They also make them in like a Tiffany blue color, which is really pretty. So here I'm looking through my stamps and I'm thinking, what should I stamp here? But then I just decided to just write and journal in the whole spot, just to talk about what I just said to you, that we went to lunch and then we went to the movies. And I also wrote a little bit about how that movie, I was not expecting it to be as good as it was. It was a great story about the backstory about the witch and how she came to be and all of that stuff. So really enjoyed that movie. It definitely took me by surprise. And so here I gave it 4 stars. I recommend you see it if you haven't. And then I started thinking about this movie, which was The Edge of Tomorrow, which was in my first pocket. And this was a movie, of course, that Marcus wanted to see. It's not really my thing, but he loves time travel movies. And so I gave this one a 2.5 stars. It was okay. He liked it. So I didn't go into each card like showing it like I normally do, just because I kind of talked about every card for this voiceover. But here I'm just kind of showing how the page turned out after I put all the pictures in the pockets. So I hope you enjoyed this new voiceover type process video. You know, I'll probably do some more in the future if you like them. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next process video.